everyone, it's Killshot 99 Gaming. This is Play Dead Live Ship Strike, and this is our third season of Ship Strike. A lot of fun. We've changed the game up quite a bit, and I am super, super excited to hang out with you guys for a couple hours and see who's going to win. Every time I see that boat sinking, I'm just wondering, like, which one of the teams is going to be on that sinking ship tonight? Well, you know what? We start out, we've got Ark and Jet. One of those teams is going to sink. But let's take a quick look at our standings and the schedule for the upcoming few months. So we've got standings. Ark 1-0, got that big win, their first game of the season, and then it was over Slide, and we had Vox pull off the upset against Jet. We've got Slide Jet trying to come back strong. You can see the point differential in those games. Ark was actually the only team to sink all three of the enemy ships. You can see that tonight we've got Ark and Jet. Then we've got Vox at Sly in the doubleheader. And then look at next month. We got Jet traveling to Sly. We got Ark traveling to Vox. And then in March, we also have our Castle Strike. So we'll get a Castle Strike and also a Ship Strike. And you can see we got April schedule. We got May schedule. So we got Ship Strikes booked all the way until the summertime. So we are going to get down to business. And the cool thing about this game keeps evolving. So we'll have a lineup. We've got 5 versus 5. And tonight we may see a brand new item patrolling around the ocean. We've got several new items that we rolled out. Probably going to be a fair share of snowstorms, because there always is. So a few Bunko, some sad grenades, some bad grenades, the whole 9 yards, some vine smoke. Hopefully you got your strategies. And one of the big keys to play is where were the ships hidden? So sometimes they're in plain sight. Sometimes we just don't know. All right, do we got the Ark players? Do we have the Jet players here tonight? If so, I'm going to take you down to the Jet Harbor. Remember, Jet is the defending champions. Look at that gold boat they got up there, right there. So we're going to see that all season long. Jet won that championship, got the beautiful gold boat. All right, here we go. Game number 1, you can see, we'll take you down to the Jet Harbor, and the lineups are going to be as follows. Tonight, for Team Ark, Julia is going to be the captain. No Captain Villar in store for you guys tonight. So Julia be the captain for Team Ark. Justice is back to his taking on the helm and running the captain of the ship in Team Jet. He was not the captain in January, and they lost. I'm just saying, when they won the championship, he was. So we'll see. Then we'll have Jim, then Kel. We'll have the Shaman, then Busy, Skylight, Cyborg Hendrix, Pope, and the Cardinal. Now, when we get to you want to make sure you got your turn ready to go, because this game is fast and it is furious. So we'll start at exactly 8:30. The game will end at 9:30, and then we'll transition over to the next battle. Remember, tonight's winning team will get Castle Strike Stones, 25 of them. And the MVP tonight will also get a personal 25 as well to contribute for their team, and acknowledged as the MVP. So we know that home field is basically you get to go last, which is a huge, huge advantage in the regular season. So we will start out with Julia. Julia, I hope you and your team are ready to go. Julia, let's go. Get your first move in, and let's see what Ark has in store. I will read it twice, and when I say en route, captains, it's too late at that point. So make sure if you're going to stop something, prevent something, that you're quick on the draw. All right, Julia's going to play Snarky Shark. Drop a seal. Bunko, B7, F7. All right, Julia. Now you have to pick. With Snarky Shark, west or east and a letter, north or south and a number. Okay? If you pick north or south, you'll pick a number. If you pick east or west, you'll pick a letter. West, B. All right. So Snarky Shark is going to go west and B, which is going to be right there. And that'll be B1. There are no players at B1. So see, Snarky Shark would uncover a player if you got it right. This is going to change the game. You can't play the shark yet, Justice. You can't play it until it's your turn. There can only be one shark on each field per turn. All right, so Justice says, Justice, we got Snarky, Seal, Bunko, B7, F7, and you said wait. Anything you want to do with the grenade? All right, Justice is going to use a prevention. All right. Now, is Julie on to something, or is Justice trying to bluff us early on to get him thinking? So, we'll find out. All right, let's go over to Justice. Justice, your move. First prevention of the game has been used. We got Justice, and then we got Gemstone. Justice, we need your move. Snarky Shark, Seal. All right, same thing for you, Justice. I need if you're going to go north or south, give me north or south and a number. If you're going to go east or west, give me east or west and a letter. So give me north, south, east, or west, and a number or a letter. East, C4. All right. It's going east, which is over here, and it'll go C. You can't go C4. You got to, if you go east, you go C. All right? It always starts at the edge. Just like that. And it'll travel across. So it'll make its way over. So there is nothing uncovered at East C1. All right. Now, if those Snarky Sharks get killed, then somebody else on the team can play one. Otherwise, they will keep traveling across. So Julia's will travel east. Next move, next move. Justice, yours will travel west. All right, so we got Bunko, C2, H2. It is en route. C2 is a miss. H2 is also a miss. All right, Gemstone, you're up. Dropping a seal. Grizzly to B7. Seal. Grizzly B7. Justice says wait. Justice going to play a blue. All right, Cal, you're up. You can't. Okay, there you go. Good. All right, so she's going to play smart move. Kel going to play Seal. And going to play Grizzly to their Snarky Shark. All right, Grizzly to their Snarky Shark is en route, and it is dead. Now, if someone else from Arc plays a Snarky Shark, it'll start in the next column. Okay? Shaman, you're up. Shaman playing a Seal. And a Grizzly to their Snarky Shark. All right, Grizzly en route. Another Snarky dead. Busy Bee, you're up. Apparently, they don't like the Snarky Sharks up there. The end of each round goes over another space. All right, captains, let's make sure our players are ready to roll. We're almost 10 minutes in, and we have not got through half a round. Do we have Busy? All right, Busy going to play Snarky. Seal and a Bunko. All right, if you play a Snarky, again, give me a direction and a number or a letter. If you're going to play north, pick a number. If you're going to play south, pick a number. If you're going to play east or west, pick a letter. Everybody got it. If you understand, give me triple nines. East C. All right. Now, for Busy, my apologies, because Busy, your Snarky will pick over where that one left off. All right? So Busy actually played it correctly, because that's the second Snarky. So you can either highlight it or it picks up. All right, since it's not the end of the round, we're going to put it right back where it was, okay? So East C will start over there. Picks up where Justice left off. All right. Bunco, A1, B2. A1, B2 is en route. A1 is a miss. B2 is a miss. All right, Skylight, you're up. Julia as Skylight. I don't see you. All right, Seal, Grizzly B7. Skylight with a Seal, Grizzly to B7. All right, Grizzly to B7 is en route, Justice. B7 is a direct hit. And because it's a direct hit, tells you all you need to know. Skylight with a hit. Let's go to Henny. Henny, you're up. Henny dropping a Seal. Bunco, E1, F2. Henny playing a Seal. Bunco, E1, F2. Julia says wait. Playing a blue. Was Kel on to something? Or is Julia bluffing? All right, let's go over to Pope. Pope, your move. Pope dropping a Seal. And Grizzly to the Snarky. All right. And remember, inventory team, Snarky is a consumable inventory item. All right, Snarky is dead. One sec. Cardinal, you're up. There is some serious fear of Snarky for sure. But now y'all can see the strategy. You're either going to let it stay or you're going to waste your attacks on it. Dropping a seal. Bunko, E1, F7. Julia says wait. Playing a prevention. All right, and that is the end of round number 1. 1 hit, but this would be where the Snarkies advanced. But they died. But if anybody else has a Snarky on their team, see, they can replay them and put them back in the pond to get them patrolling. Round number 2, Julia, you're up. Grizzly to B6. Grizzly to B6. Is en route. Up, Justice says wait. Okay. Going to Judas it over to E1. Justice using his legendary. Julia, they got a redirect. It hits. All right, E1. E1 is a miss. There was some bluffing going on. Look at that. Little trickeration by Julia in her captain role. Justice, you're up. Over to Justice. Round 2. Bunko. C6, F2. Justice throwing a Bunko. C6, F2. Julia says wait. Since you are redirecting to Judas, you have to pick 2 targets. Wow. That was about as good as you can get with 2 targets, I am going to say. She guessed, and she guessed right. She guessed both targets, which means it is an automatic hit. It's a Bunko. Had it been 1 of 2, I would have said it was 1 of 2. but they both hit. B6 and B8, and it was a ghost ship, and it is sunk. First sunk battleship. Arc 1-0. Gemstone, you're up. There are no more legends, no more preventions. That was a pretty good use of legends by both teams. All right, Gemstone is going to continue with Snarky. And it'll start out, since it's round 2, in B2. There is nothing in B2. And Jim throwing Bunko, D7, G5. D7 is a miss. D5. Hang on. Let me read these again. D7 and G5. D7 is a miss. G5 is also a miss. Kel, you're up. Jet in need of a big, big play here. Ark found the ghost ship early. Kel bringing back Snarky. Now we know Snarky will start in that area, and that area has been uncovered, but it will continue round by round. So part of strategy is going to be play your Snarkies in different areas that you may not play your grenades. Bunko, F7, C6. F7 is a miss. C6 is also a miss. We got 2 Snarkies out there. Shaman, you're up. Bunko, H1, G8. H1 is a miss. G8 is also a miss. Busy B, you're up. Now we get some pace. Busy B, Bunko, D4, H8. D4 is a miss. H8. Also a miss. Skylight, you're up. It is. What's going on, Will? This is part of Play Dead Live. This is our ship strike. So we have castle strike, ship strike. So by ocean, by land. 5 versus 5. Kind of like a Squid Game version of Battleship. Skylight going Bunko, H7, F1. H7 is a miss. F1 is also a miss. Hendricks, your move. Games are super fast, too. We play 1 hour, and then we have the other 2 factions will play right after this at exactly 9:30. So super, super fast game flow. Go from Skylight over to Hendricks. Henny, what you got? Bunko, D8, G5. D8 is a miss. G5 is also a miss. Pope, you're up. We're almost at the midway point. Pope going to throw Grizzly at Snarky. Sorry, Kel. Apparently they don't want your Snarky Shark out there. Cardinal, you're up. Grizzly to Snarky. Kel, Amy, this is going to be a challenge for the inventory team. I can tell you already. Because it's going to be almost impossible to decide who played their Snarky and who's attacking their Snarky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log all the Snarky plays to take it off the inventory team. All right, so I think we've had, who's played Snarky so far? Julia? Justice, Jim, Kel, Busy, and no, Chad didn't play a Snarky. Chad killed one. Who's played him for Ark? Sheila? All right, just 2? Okay. All right. So I've got 2 for Ark, 3 for Jet. And they will be consumable, so they'll show back up. But I'll remove them, and that way, inventory team, you guys can stick to your grenades and the other stuff. All right, so Chad throwing Grizzly to Snarky. All right, I think I removed it. Okay, we got all Snarkies are down. All right. And that did unveil that area. Okay, let's go to round number 3. Julia, you're up. Round number 3. Funko, C2A4. C2A4, one of those 2 is a hit. Justice, you're up. Actually, back up. Back up. Oh, my goodness. Holy crap. C2 and A4, both of those are a hit. This is unreal. And that means, I don't think this has ever happened before. C2 and A4 both hits. Busy loses a seal, and Kel loses a seal. If both hit, I have to unveil it, and they do automatically hit. Justice, you're up. And that was crazy. Max Seal Kel. Bunko. E5F2. One of those 2 is a hit, Justice. One of those 2 is a hit. Only one. Jim Stone, you're up. Grizzly to C2. C2 is going to break Kel's seal. Kel, you're up. Kel going to max seal herself. Snowstorm to F2. Start down here at the bottom in the middle. Snowstorm to F2 hits. And I think that helped. It's a direct hit, which means something. Kel getting Jet back in the game. Shaman, you're up. Vines and Grizzly to C2. And because they know that Kel is there, Vines does hit, and Grizzly does light up C2. Kel, res and restore. Busy Bee, you're up. Now, obviously, Kel continues to play. She just can't be sealed. But Jet does have a little information at this point. So could they stage a comeback? Maybe. Arc with a pretty big lead right now. Busy Bee. Busy gonna max seal herself. Bunko F3, F4. Bunko to F3, F4. F3 is a miss. F4 is also a miss. She was gambling. She was going for it, right? You have to. I don't blame her. Skylight, you're up. Grizzly to D2. D2 will break just a seal. Henny, you're up. Where is Henny? If Henny's not showing up, just type it again. Something in the typing about those alt accounts that it doesn't like. Max Seal Justice. Bunko, E2G2. E2G2, Kel, one of those two is a hit, but only one. Jet trying to gamble. They have to. They're trying to gamble and get those double hits. Pope, you're up. Bind Sad to D2. D2. Binds will break just to seal. Sad Grenade to D2 is a hit. All right, Pope. Your second attack with the Sad Grenade. Pick your grenade and tell me where it's going. $17 minutes. Let's go. Got to give me 2 targets. E2 and a second target. Come on, guys. Ten more seconds, so we're going to skip. A5, E2. One of those two is a hit with a Bunko. One of those two would hit. Cardinal, you're up. Bunko, E2, D2. Now that's what I'm talking about. E2, D2 is a hit and a hit. They timed it. All right, move that over. Let me light that up the right way. Sorry. Should have been there, there, and there. All right. Cardinal sinking a battleship. It is 1-1. Jet right back in the game. All right. Julia, you're up. Grizzly to E2. Henny Seal is gone. Justice, you're up. There's new life for Team Jet. Don't give up. 13 minutes to go. We got ourselves a game. You're never out of ship strike until the game's over. Snowstorm to E5. Snowstorm to E5. E5 is a miss. But he does get the snowstorm effect. Gemstone, you're up. Also, Justice, res and restore for me. I didn't have you res and restore on your last attack when you died. Playing Vines. To E2, there's no seal, but it still hits. Henny, res and restore. Ark with their second battleship, Gemstone, sinking one. All right, Gemstone. Give me your second attack. Justice and Henny, type R&R, please. Grizzly to B4. B4 breaks the Cardinal seal. Kel, your move. Bunko, B4A6. Kel, one of those two is a hit. One of those two is definitely a hit. Shaman, you're up. Sad to B4. Cardinal, res and restore. Actually, the snowstorm will not hit. There's a snowstorm there. Just recently placed. The sad grenade will only break. Cardinal does not die yet. The ice will break, though. We knew he was there, but they just put the snowstorm there, so broken ice. And it did not hit a target, so no second attack. Busy, you're up. That was a timely snowstorm by Justice. Snowstorm to B4. Look at this. Putting ice right back. I see what y'all have done. And snowstorm to B4 is going to break gem seal. Skylight, you're up. Max Seal to Jim. And a snowstorm to B4. We'll break B4. And they will get their own snowstorm. Henny, you're up. Yes. That's why you have 2 over on your scorecard on the left side. Yep, I see it. Henny Vines to Jim, Sad to B4. Vines breaks Jim. Sad Grenade to B4. Jim, Res and Restore. Kel, second attack with Henny. Henny Bunko to A4 and C4. A4 breaks an ice block. C4 is a miss. Pope, you're up. Five minutes to go. Grizzly to B4. Cardinal, Res and Restore. Cardinal, after you Res and Restore, give me your move. All right, Cardinal, you're up. We're down to the wire, 4 minutes to go, but Jet still has a shot. They got to make it count. Grizzly to A4. A4 is a miss. Ouch. Julia, you're up. Grizzly to A4. Break an ice block. Justice, you're up. Got to bring the heat, Justice, in a big way. Do we have Justice? Bunko, B5, B6. Oh, I see what you tried to do there, Justice. But only one of those two is a hit. That's the gamble, right? Gemstone, you're up. Grizzly to A4. Busy loses her seal. Kel, you're up. Not over yet. Your move, Kel. Bunko, B3, B5. It is a double hit. Pope losing his seal. Julia losing her seal. And that is the game. Oh, they figured it out. Just a little late, though. Congratulations, Ark. They didn't quite get the third ship sank, but they did sink 2, and almost the final ship. Jet was coming on strong at the end, though. They had just unveiled those last 2 and would have been able to tie it up relatively quickly. Congratulations. Our MVP tonight is Gemstone. She sunk a ship, and her Judas sunk a second ship. So congratulations to our MVP, Gemstone, for Team Ark. Team Ark pushing their record to 2-0. Jet, the defending champs, got to regroup and get ready for next month. Okay. We got Vox versus Sly. And we do have a player. After the starting lineup was submitted, we have a player who is not here, which means that player cannot be sealed, and we will skip their turn. They cannot be sealed. We will skip their turn. So if they are unveiled, it will be an automatic hit. All right. Here's the lineup, and we will start at 9:32. We'll have Dr. Die. Then we'll have Deadly Dimes, Trigger, Bones, Flyrod, Ocean Man, Sir Tim, Football Master, Nightshade, and the Animal. We won't announce the player, but when we get to that, I will announce that that player will skip, and we will move on. All right, Dr. Dye, you're up. Let's kick this party off. Snarky Shark for Dr. Dye. North Sea, thank you, Doc. But there is no North Sea. If you go north, you got to pick a number. If you go west, you pick a letter. East, you pick a letter. And south, you pick a number. So you almost got it. So if you're going north, give me a number. All right. Going east, C. All right. Dr. Dye going east, C. So that'll be C8. C8 is not a hit. There's nothing at C8. All right. She's also playing Bunko, D4, F6. Dr. Dye, Bunko, D4, F6 is en route. D4 is a miss. F6 is also a miss. Deadly Dimes, you're up. Snarky Shark, South 5. That'll be H5. There is nothing there. Dimes dropping a seal. Bunko, B1, G8. B1, G8. B1 is a miss. G8 is also a miss. Trigger, you're up. You can only have one Snarky Shark in play at a time. So, no Snarky Shark. You can play it if somebody else's dies. So, Trigger dropping a seal. So, you have it for later still. Bunko. Yeah, you can always play it if hers dies. E6, C4. Bunko, E6, C4. En route. E6 is a miss. C4. Also a miss. Bones, you're up. Dropping a seal. Bones going Bunko. B8, C5. Bunko. B8, C5. It's en route. B8's a miss. C5 is also a miss. Fly rod, you're up. We have fly rod. Box. Trigger. Doc, do we have fly? You guys hear me okay? Oh, Ocean Man can hear me. All right, I need a response from a Vox player, please. Fly rod. Do we have fly rod? If not, we got to skip. There we go. Fly rod, dropping a seal. Be ready to go, everybody. This game is fast paced. Bunko, G2 and G3. Bunko, G2, G3 is en route. G2 is a miss. G3 is also a miss. Ocean Man, you're up. All good. We got you back. We're good. Ocean Man dropping a seal. Bunko, G2, A7. Ocean Man with a seal. Bunko, G2, and A7. Grenade is en route. One of those two is a hit. Got to say wait, Doc. Once I unveil it. Go ahead and delete that. One of those two is a hit. It's already been announced. Sir Tim, your move. Sir Tim dropping a seal. Bunko, A8 and B8. Seal, Bunko, A8, B8. Dime says wait. Using a blue to shut it down. Was Sir Tim onto something? Football Master, you're up. We got football, nightshade, and animal. Dropping a seal. Grizzly to G2. Seal. Grizzly to G2. Grenade is en route. G2. Doc, you got some serious lag. Maybe like 30 seconds. All right, I'm going to prevent it. As soon as it pops up, make sure you hit wait. If you hit wait, I'll stall, and then you can put your move in. All right, it is prevented. All right, first prevention. All right, football master with a seal, and the grenade is prevented. All right, Nightshade is not here. So Nightshade, we won't tell you where he is, but we will tell you his character is dead, and we will skip him. Animal, you're up. All right, scratch that. Nightshade, you're up. I don't see anything, Joe. Nightshade playing a seal. Bunko, A2, C3. Seal, A2, and C3. Is en route. A2's a miss. C3 is also a miss. Animal, your move. Animal dropping the seal. And going Grizzly to G2. Grizzly to G2. Grizzly G2 is en route. All right, this time it does hit. And because it hits, it should tell you something. Animal with the first hit of the game. All right, at the end of the round, we're going to move those snarky sharks one spot. We go up to G5. G5 snarky shark is a miss. Over on the other side, we go to C7. C7, there's nothing there either. So both snarkies did move, but they didn't uncover anything. Dr. Dye, you're up. Round number 2. Bunko, E5, A5. Bunko to E5 and A5. Dime says wait. Going to Judas it over to G3. Ah. Dimes thinks she might be onto something. Doc, they're going to redirect. Actually, Dimes, you got to give me 2 targets. Because it is a Bunko. G3 and what else? Hold up, Doc. G3 and G4. All right. Doc says she's going to use her Judas. Doc, are you going to redirect it to the original target or a different target? E5, B8. All right, Dimes, they're going to redirect to E5 and B8. Using a prevention. All right, no more preventions for Team Sly. Did we find out some stuff? Maybe. Dimes, you're up. Doc still has a blue left, and that's it. That's all the preventions we have left. We're about to hit speed mode in this game. Sad grenade to G3. Dimes going sad grenade to G3. All right, G3 is en route. G3 is also a hit. Dimes. Give me your next attack. Grizzly to G4. Doc says, I'm going to stop it. Now, was that the final hit, or was she bluffing? Either way, it stopped. Trigger, you're up. No preventions, no shutdowns for either team. Now we're about to see some skill and some intuition. Snowstorm to E5. Snowstorm to E5. Let's go diagonal. We'll go A1. All right. So we'll freeze that. Snowstorm to E5 is going to break Football Master seal. So we know where football is, and his seal is broken. Bones, you're up. We got a little frost on the pond on the Vox side. They may be going into defensive mode. Super close game, still anybody's battle. 1-0 Vox versus 0-1 Sly. Sly was a runner-up last season in the championship game. Max seal to football from Bones. Sad grenade to G4. Was that final shot? It was. Ghost ship has been sunk. Sly 1-0. Bones, give me your second attack. Bunko, E6, A4. E6 is a miss. A4 is also a miss. Fly Rod, you're up. Vine Smoke to E5. Smart move. Going to break football seal. Throws a sad grenade at E5 because he knows who's there. It's a hit. Fly Rod, give me your follow-up attack. Vox getting right back in the game. We'll see what Fly Rod comes back with. Get Fly Rod's second attack. Remember, sad grenades hit, you get a follow-up. All right, team box, we got to have a move. I'll give him 10 more seconds. I know sometimes we have connection issues, but these games are on strict timers. Bunko, F4, E4. F4 is a miss. E4 is also a miss. Ocean Man, you're up. Bunko, C3, E3. C3 is a miss. E3 is also a miss. Sir Tim, you're up. Can Sir Tim uncover something? Bunko, C4, D4. C4 has already been played. D4 has also been played. Both those targets will fizzle out. Football Master, you're up. Bunko, E1, B6. E1 is a miss. B6 is also a miss. Nightshade, your move. Bunko, D5, F5. D5, F5, one of those two is a hit. One of those two is a hit. Nightshade getting some info. Animal, you're up. $30 minutes remaining. Do we have animal? Bunko, H6, D4. H6 is a miss. D4 is also a miss. All right, at the end of round 2, Snarky moves up to F5. And there's nothing there. Snarky moves over to C6. Nothing there. So Snarky's helping out. He's uncovered 3 blocks each. But as you can see, he's unveiling the map. Dr. Dye, you're up. We got a super close game. Sly with 1 ship down. But Vox is on the prowl. F5 Snowstorm. Snowstorm freezes this block right here. But remember, it only breaks that person's seal. We already know who's there. Bones loses her seal, but doesn't die. Dimes, you're up. Vox trying to go to 2-0. Sly trying to tie it at 1-1. Max seal to Bones. Bunko, D7, F7. One of those 2 is a hit. Deadly Dimes. Not going to tell you which one. Trigger, you're up. Vines to F5 and a sad grenade. Vines will break Bone seal. And sad grenade will hit Bones, res and restore. Trigger. Give me your next attack. Bunko, D5, A5. D5 is a miss. A5 is also a miss. Bones, you're up. Where is Bones? If you posted it, post it again. D7 Snowstorm. Snowstorm, we're going to put it A1. Freeze this block over here. And D7 Snowstorm is going to hit. D7 is going to break Trigger seal. Trigger loses their seal. Fly Rod, you're up. Team Box. Send it again. Max Seal Trigger. Grizzly. Okay. To give me the target again. To G5. All right, Grizzly to G5 is going to break. Dimes a seal. Ocean Man, you're up. Vines to Trigger, Sad to D7. Vines to Trigger. Sad to D7. Trigger, Res, and Restore. Ocean Man, give me a follow-up attack. Make sure, to those of you that are using sad grenades, you're prepared to get that second move in. E7 Snowstorm. Is he on target? E7 is a miss. But he does freeze a little bit of his own pond. Sir Tim, you're up. We have Sir Tim, football, nightshade, and animal. Sad grenade to G5. Dimes, Res, and Restore. Oh my goodness, this game just got tied. Sir Tim sinking a ship. It's 1-1. Tim, give me a follow-up move. Bunko, A7, A8. A7's a miss. A8 is also a miss. Football, you're up. Your team needs you because Vox is storming back in a big way. D6 snowstorm. D6 is a miss. They're trying, but they're missing. We will freeze. G7. All the other ones have been revealed diagonally, so G7 is frozen. Nightshade, you're up. Bunko, B4, B5. B4 is a miss. B5 is also a miss. Animal, you're up. C7 snowstorm. Snowstorm will freeze this block over here. And a C7 snowstorm. It's going to break Fly Rod's seal. Animal onto something. All right, let's see what Snarky Shark does. Moving up to E5. E5 unveils nothing on the Vox side. Moving over to C5. C5 unveils nothing as well. But Snarky's doing his job. Doesn't necessarily have to find anything, but he's showing you areas that there's nothing there. All right, Doc, round 4. Let's go. $15 minutes to go. Max seal to fly rod from the dock. Bunko, H3E2. H3 is a miss. E2, also a miss. Doc said, I'm going to fill in some of that empty space over there. A miss and a miss. Deadly Dimes, you're up. This is where it gets intense because everybody's expecting a hit. Vines to fly rod, sad to C7. Fly rod, resin restore, Vines breaks your seal. And the sad found you. All right, Dimes. Give me your follow-up attack. B3. Snowstorm is en route. B3's a miss. But we'll start with the other corner and we'll freeze that block. Trigger, you're up. Bunko, D1, D8. Trigger. One of those two is a hit. One of those two is a hit. Bones, you're up. Amy, if you typed it, I don't see anything. B7 sad. All right, B7 sad grenade. Breaks Nightshade seal. No follow-up attack because it didn't get through. Fly rod, your move. Going down to the wire. We got 10 minutes left, everybody. Get your moves in quick. If I call on you, you don't get a move in 20 seconds. We're going to skip. We only have 10 minutes to go. Grizzly to D1. Grizzly to D1. D1 is a miss. Ocean Man, you're up. We have Ocean Man, Tim, Football, Nightshade, and Animal. Be ready. B7 Sad Grenade. B7 Sad Grenade is a hit. Nightshade, Res and Restore. Ocean Man, sinking a battleship. Scores now 2-1. Advantage Sly. Ocean Man, give me your follow-up attack. C2 Grizzly. C2 Grizzly is a miss. Sir Tim, you're up. Make sure all players, again, you must have the grenades in by the end of the match. We'll be spot checking all the Grizzlies, all the Sads, all the items. You do not want to not have the item in your inventory and lose a match for your team. Grizzly D8. Grizzly D8 is going to break Animal Seal. Nice hit, Tim. Football, you're up. Max sealed Animal. Bunko. B2, E2. One of those two is a hit, and that was huge. Vox is going to have to speed it up. Nightshade, you're up. And your team is desperate because some knowledge just got uncovered. Nightshade's going to have to go risky. Seven minutes. Sad to D8. It does hit, but he just got resealed, so it's only going to break the seal. No follow-up attack. That's tough. Animal, you're up. Final 6 minutes. Ten more seconds, Animal. Max seal himself. Grizzly to B2. B2 will break Sir Tim's seal. Snarky Shark moving up. I'm going to backtrack. Will not break his seal. B2 will break the ice. Will break the ice. Sir Tim does still have his seal, but the ice is now broken. All right, we're going to move Snarky Shark up. D5. Nothing. Over on the other side. Moving all the way over to C2. And nothing unveiled. A lot of blocks uncovered with Snarky. All right, Dr. Die. Round 5, let's go. 4 minutes to go, Dr. Die. Grizzly to D8. Does break animal seal. Dimes, you're up. Grizzly to B2. Break Sir Tim's seal. Trigger, you're up. It's a race. Sad to D8. Yes, it is. Animal, res and restore. Trigger, follow-up attack. Bunko, D7, E8. She had to gamble. One of those two is a hit. One of those two is a hit. She needed both of them to be a hit for sure. Bones, you're up. B2 sad grenade. Sir Tim. Res and restore. Bones, follow-up attack. A2 snowstorm. A2 will break Doc seal. Time. Time has expired. And it was another close one. Vox was playing risky at the end, trying to get caught back up. But tonight, Sly gets the win. 2 ships, 2-1. 2-1, Team Sly. Tonight's MVP, with a sunken ship and another hit, Ocean Man for Team Sly gets the MVP. And after our second full ship strike, we've got Team Arc 2-0, Team Vox 1-1, Team Sly 1-1, and Team Jet, defending champs, 0-2. But I'm sure they'll be back. Great game, everybody. Good gameplay all the way around. I love me some Ship Strike. So the game continues to develop. Whole lot of fun. And in March, we will have Castle Strike to go right along with it. So if you like Ship Strike, if you like Castle Strike, we got a strike for everybody. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night. Awesome gameplay by all four teams. Make sure you check your grenade inventory after tonight. I'll be checking it. We don't want to have to forfeit a game, so anything you use tonight must be in your inventory. And if you are low on SAD grenades and snowstorm grenades, which many of you are, there will be a Super Bomber Bundle Wednesday night for Faction Wars. And also look in the shop, because we do sell a lot of these items in the shop. Have a good night, everybody. Peace.